Hi, I don't know if you guys missed me or not. It's been a little while and I'm sorry for that. I have really been having a hard time mentally. It's been a minute since I made a video, at least like a good quality one. My last one, when I talked about Daisy, was subpar at best. My mental health has really not been in a good place. I was changing medications. The addition of Daisy caused a lot of stress and anxiety for me. But I feel like I'm finally like on the upswing here. So, I mean, I'm hoping it continues in that direction. So I'm riding this wave for as long as I can. I figured I'm gonna bang out some content while I'm having these good days. At the beginning of this week, I had a really nasty head cold. My son had brought something home from school, and the one thing that I was wishing I'd had was like fire cider. I've never had this either. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna look into how to make it so that way I have it on hand in the future when I get sick. There are people out there that swear by homeopathic medicine, or they don't take traditional over-the-counter stuff. You know, that's their choice. I have high blood pressure, so I'm very limited with what I can take. I can't take like Sudafed, which is like the only thing that helps with my congestion. So I really like to lean on, like, I take Tylenol, and then if I can take something that's natural, I'll take that as well. So I do like using silver biotics, or, you know, I guess it's literally just silver suspended in water. So I'll take that 3 times a day if I'm sick, and that seems to work. You know, I mean, if anything, it's not gonna hurt as long as you're not overdoing it, because I know that if you take too much silver, you will turn blue. So because I love natural medicine so much, I figured fire cider is like right up my alley. You know, I like making tinctures and things like that. So let's do it. And while I make it, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about my journey into sobriety, because on the 28th, it was my 2 years sober, so from alcohol. So to start, I'm just gonna first tell you a little bit about fire cider. Basically, you want to get some apple cider vinegar, and again, this is my first time making it, and I think that you can really kind of make it however you want. So I've just gathered a couple of recipes and sort of put together things that I think will work best. But yeah, you want to get raw apple cider vinegar that has the mother in it. This is just really good for, it has probiotics, and it helps with inflammation, digestion, stuff like that. This is my own edition. I'm not a mycology expert or anything of the sort, so please do not rely on this information for your creation, because I don't want to be held liable. But I did forage some turkey tail last fall. I think this is about a year old. Turkey tail is really good for immune support, so I'm gonna put that in my fire cider. It's edible, but it doesn't taste good. It's very woody, so it's really good if you steep it, or I'm not sure if it will like extract into the vinegar, so we'll see. It shouldn't alter the flavor at all. I have some rosemary. I have 2 different onions here. I have a red onion and a white onion. I have 2 bulbs, 2 heads of garlic. I have a bunch of turmeric root. These look really kind of gross to me. They look like little worms. A big old thing of ginger. Those are all really good for inflammation. I have 3 jalapeno peppers. I've washed everything too, so it's all ready to go. Obviously, like this capsaicin and spicy peppers can help with congestion and improve circulation. And I have 3 oranges that I've washed, and I'm just gonna chop them up and put them in. And I have horseradish. Now, the horseradish roots at the store were soft, so I was like, you know, I have prepared horseradish. It's horseradish, distilled vinegar, water, salt, and natural flavor. So I'm like, you know, whatever. I'm just gonna scoop this and put it in and hope for the best. I have some black pepper, because there's something in the black pepper that activates the turmeric. I have thyme, I don't really know what thyme does. It's gonna add a nice flavor. Dill, I don't know if that does anything either. I'm sure it does, but I think that might like give it a nice like pickly flavor. I love pickles, so we'll see. And then I have bay leaf. Bay leaf is really good with congestion too. So I'm gonna get chopping here. I have a jar, a giant ball jar. I'm gonna put all the stuff in, and then I'm gonna pour one of these over top. I bought 2 containers because if this turns out well, I'm gonna make more. So basically, once it's all done, you stick it somewhere dark, like under a cabinet, and you let it sit for 2 to 4 weeks. Then you strain it, and it should last, I think, 6 to 12 months. But a lot of the times it's gone before it expires because people say it's really good. Once it's done too, you want to add raw honey. So you don't add that in the beginning. I think the sugar may affect the way it distills. Or I don't even know if it's distilling. You add it at the end. I'm gonna start chopping. Let's start with like the hard stuff. So I'm just gonna use like 2 knobs of ginger. And I'm not gonna peel it. So, I have talked a lot about sobriety on my TikTok account. I mean, I haven't really talked about it a lot, but it's something that I like to be transparent about because I think that alcohol is such a, you know, it's a legal substance that so many people have access to, and it's so dangerous. So I really feel like alcohol is more dangerous than a lot of the street drugs because it's just a slippery slope for a lot of people, especially if you have an addictive personality or you deal, like if you're not mentally stable. I think that our society is very much like, doesn't want help, and so they like to self-medicate, and that's what I did. You find something that makes you feel good, and you start to use that thing that makes you feel good when you're feeling like shit, and before you know it, you're using it a lot, and that's when problems start. So, you know, I didn't start abusing drugs or anything until I was like in high school, and I wouldn't even say I was abusing drugs because, you know, I smoked pot. I think that everybody goes through a period where they do. And I didn't really consume alcohol until I was 18. And it wasn't like a big deal for me. I was just like, oh, okay. I think that it changed when, I'm not sure. I don't know if there was like a turning point or anything like that, but I remember the first time I had alcohol poisoning. I don't even know if I was old enough to drink yet. So my mother and her ex-husband had a bar down in the basement, and my mother would always get Everclear from New Jersey so that she would make Kahlua and Boilo and stuff like that for the holidays. And I mixed Everclear with orange juice, and I had a big old cup like this tall, and I filled it like more than halfway with Everclear, and then topped it off with some orange juice. And Everclear, I don't know if you ever had it, but I mean, it evaporates very quickly because it's very strong, but it doesn't really have a strong flavor. And I drank that, and next thing I knew, I was throwing up all over the place. It was bad. It was the first hangover I had too. It was awful. I can say that during my time while I was drinking, I didn't really get sick very often. I know that some people like threw up a lot. A lot of my girlfriends in college, I held back a lot of hair in the club's bathroom, stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't really get that sick. I could stomach my booze pretty well. And I think that it was in college when things slowly kind of spiraled out. We would pregame, and I would just drink like straight brandy was like my thing. I would always get brandy and drink it on the rocks. And I was a server, and so I would like not eat while I was working because I realized very quickly if you consume booze on an empty stomach, you get fucked up faster. You know, my meals would, I don't even want to say I was in great shape, but you know, I had a very slim, tight physique back then too, because I would just drink and then we'd go to the club and I would dance until, I'd be like one of the first people on the floor because we'd get there around 10:30 and people wouldn't start dancing until like 11:30, midnight. And I'd be like, I can't wait, I'm going out to dance. So I would be one of the first people on the floor and then one of the last ones. We'd stay till last call. And then on the walk home, I would stop at the pizza place and get like a slice of pizza or two. Nobody says that a college kid is an alcoholic because it's just, you know, it's just what they do is they drink booze. So, you know, nobody was concerned about me then because everybody else was drinking too. So I think that for me, it really became a big issue when I graduated. I stayed in the town that, you know, I went to college. And there was one time where we had a really bad snowstorm and I was terrified of the possibility of being snowed in without booze. So I drove to the liquor store when the roads were already really bad and I had a really shitty car. So I pretty much like risked my life and other people's lives just to go get booze so I wouldn't be without it during the snowstorm. When I was in that season of my life, I was exhibiting a lot of borderline personality disorder symptoms, you know, making very reckless decisions, just being reckless in general. And it may have been the booze, it may have been my hormones, I don't really know, but I just know that I was really putting myself into a lot of very sketchy situations and prioritizing getting fucked up. But again, nobody saw it as an issue, and I did a pretty good job of like hiding it too because I was living alone. I didn't have anybody to kind of police me. You know, I developed panic disorder, I think, when I was in my first or second year of college. I mean, that's when I had my first panic attack when I was very young, but then it kind of came back after my grandfather passed away, and it was really bad, and I think that like drinking booze helped. My commute to and from college was about an hour and a half, and there were times when the drive would take me 2.5 to 4 hours because I would have so many panic attacks driving in either direction, and would have to pull over because I'd hyperventilate. It was so bad. And at one point I got it in my head, I was like, you know what, I should just have a drink in the car with me because that will keep me calm. So I did that for a little while, which I know is not smart. Really stupid decision, and didn't realize how stupid it was at the time. I think I only did it like once or twice, and then I was like, yeah, I shouldn't be doing that. So there was a period of time when everything kind of evened out. I moved back home and met somebody, kind of got my life together, became a mother, but it was after I had my child that it kind of got bad again. And I have a lot of regrets because I spent a lot of my son's childhood nursing hangovers. You know, I would be so excited for his bedtime because it would mean that mommy could start drinking. You know, I worked in a stressful job. I was a veterinary assistant, and the hours were unpredictable. The days were unpredictable because we dealt with emergencies, so saw a lot of crazy things. And the owner of the clinic I worked at was horribly abusive verbally, and it was just a really not a good situation. So I did a lot of self-medicating, and I think that So it was like 2 years ago, you know, I woke up in the middle of the night with a horrific panic attack. And I think it was because I consumed, you know, a significant amount of alcohol before I went to bed. And I also was, I was mixing, so I was like smoking marijuana as well. And I don't know what happened exactly, but I shot up and I was having a hard time breathing. I basically got rushed to the emergency room and they checked me out. Everything was okay. My potassium level was extremely low, which was odd. So they gave me like a supplement and monitored me overnight. But it was in that moment that I was like, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing? You know, I had this little voice in my head that kept like speaking up. It was like two voices. It was, as far as I know, I don't have like schizophrenia or anything like that. But there was one voice that was like kind of telling me it was okay to drink during the day. It's summertime, you know, have a drink. You're at a cookout, have a drink, whatever. And then there's another part of me that was like, girl, you need to stop. Like, what are you doing? And that little voice, as soon as, I mean, I tell people that if you hear a little voice in your head telling you to stop, you need to freaking listen to it, because it's not saying it for fun. Like, that's your subconscious talking to you. At least that's how I feel. And I had a friend at the time, we've since parted ways, but she was like, you're not an alcoholic, when I first told her. And I actually didn't tell anybody when I decided to quit. I kept it a secret for like the first week at least, because it felt like I got this like second lease on life or something. I can't really explain it, but I had this like realization, and I had this like newfound confidence in myself, and it just felt like this very intimate, special thing. And I didn't want to share it with anybody because I didn't want people's opinions on what I was choosing to do. Because I think that people have a tendency to, you know, want to investigate and be like, well, I don't know, I don't think you're an alcoholic, or they'll ask questions and why. And it's too early at that point to be able to have conversations like that with a clear mind. So I kept it a secret, you know, and then when I finally told people, my one friend was like, you're not an alcoholic. And I'm like, girl, you don't know how much I'm drinking. And the fact that I'm hiding it from people, you know, it's not someone else's choice to make. And I think, you know, I remember taking like a quiz online, and you can do all that, you know, but if you think at the core that you are having a problem and you're relying too heavily on a substance, then you're probably addicted to it. You know, regardless of if your tolerance or dependency or anything like that. I was not, fortunately, physically dependent on alcohol yet at that point. I think if it had continued, it would have gotten to that point very quickly, because I think that there's kind of a black and white, like there's people that can drink, let's say they're in the white area, and then there's alcoholics that are in the black area. And then there's this huge gray area in between. And once you're in that gray area, and you don't have a frame of reference anymore of what's right, not, I don't say right and wrong, but between white and black, it's like, how do you know when you're in the black? You know, you don't until it's too late. And I didn't want to get to that point. My father, he's been sober for, I'm not sure how long now, but one of the last times that I saw him, that, I mean, seared into my memory, he came down for my sister's wedding and he stayed with us. And I remember he had me drive him to the liquor store to get a bottle of vodka, which I did. And I was pregnant at the time, so I wasn't drinking. And he reeked of booze. He lost a lot of weight. His hands were shaking. His face was flushed. And 24 hours later, he requested that I take him to go get another bottle of booze. But in that 24-hour window, I didn't see him drunk at all, which was terrifying because at that point the booze was not serving as a way to get drunk or fucked up. It was a medication to keep him normal. And that's terrifying. I never wanted to get to that point. So yeah, the fact that my chemistry, my blood chemistry that night when I went to the emergency room was like not normal. You know, I have like fear, a cardiac fear, like something's gonna happen to my heart. And I was like, okay, if my anxiety and my panic is kind of rooted in my health, why am I ingesting poison? Why am I putting this into my body and screwing things up? You know, I was also a pretty, I don't want to say a heavy smoker, but I smoked cigarettes. There was, you know, and I still think about it, I daydream about it, you know, I'm a human. You know, having the burn of like the first shot or two of the night and then smoking a cigarette. Oh, like nothing was better. And I still don't know if there's anything better. You know, again, I'm only 2 years in recovery here, so there may be a time when I can easily say something else was better. But to me, that was just like nothing beat that. And so I was like, I need to quit smoking too because it's disgusting. And I felt so bad because like you know, my son would come up to me and I just felt like dirty. And he like brought a lighter up to me one time. He's like, here mom, I found your cigarette thing. And I was like, oh my God. Why does I think he was like 3 or 4 at the time. How can he say the word cigarette? I just felt awful. So I had a lot of guilt. And I still deal with that guilt. Like I feel like I lost time. But you know, he's 6 now. And I like to think that a lot of kids don't remember a lot of things before a certain age. So it's my hope that now that I am sober, I am able to forge new memories with him, for him, where at least, you know, I may not be the most highly functioning adult because of my mental health not being the greatest, but at least I'm not in an altered state of consciousness all the time. And I'm not rushing him to bed so I can have a drink, you know? Because I know how limited my time is with him at this stage where he's at. You know, there's gonna come a day when he's gonna be a teenager and not want to hug me. And I try not to think about that too much, but my goal is to soak up as much time and to like be present and remember it, not take a substance that's going to affect my memory, if that makes any sense. Oops. Making a mess. Alright, I'm going to chop the onions now, and if you don't know this hack, you need to, if you chop onions, to get a wet paper towel, although I'm going to use my sponge here. So the thought, or the theory, is that I think it's sulfur or something comes out of the onions when you cut it, and it's drawn to water, and so your eyes are moist, and so that's just where the fumes go. So by leaving a wet sponge or paper towel, so generally it's paper towel. I don't know if the sponge is gonna work, so we're gonna find out. But that's supposed to attract the sulfur so that your eyes don't burn. So let's see how that works. Okay, so far so good. Whew, that is pungent. Really hope, I think everything will fit in here. In early recovery for me, the hardest thing was at night because that was part of my routine to have a drink. So in the beginning, I felt like I had a lot of extra time, which was really kind of nice. I felt like a gift to myself. I was like, I don't know if I was watching any particular TV shows or anything like that, but I would drink a lot of tea at night. And I also had a lot of fun kind of crafting my own mocktails. And I found that there were certain things that kind of recreated the sensation of drinking without, you know, the booze. So I really liked, I made ginger syrup. So ginger is just awesome because it's a really good superfood and it's spicy. So when you consume it, it kind of burns a little. Not necessarily the mouth, but more like the throat as it's going down. So, you know, when you're taking shots, it kind of like burns your throat a little. And so I would mix, like, I would make ginger simple syrup and I would mix it with tart cherry juice and lime and seltzer. And that little mocktail, or I would do tart cherry, or I would do like pure cranberry juice, which is very bitter and sour. So this drink was a really awesome mocktail because it was like kind of festive. Like this was around the holidays, like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it was healthy. So the only issue was that, you know, sleep was very difficult for me in the beginning, and I would drink it before bed and I would wake up to pee, and then I would have a hard time falling back to sleep. So that was like the one downfall. So since then, you know, I don't really drink a whole lot before bed. I do still make tea. There's something so like making cocktails and that sort of thing was like very ritualistic for me. I was a bartender when I was in college too, which I drank a lot on the job. Surprise. You know, at like 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11, me and my friend who were bartending would like start taking shots, and then, I don't know, it was fun. But I will drink tea now, and then I try and stop drinking by like 9 because I don't want to wake up to pee, because sleep is such an important thing, and I have some sleep issues, some big sleep issues. I am actually seeing a sleep doctor this week to kind of rule out there being any physical reason as to why I keep waking up at the same time every night, because it's very annoying. Oh my gosh, I'm running out of room. I don't know if I'm going to put this other orange in here. 2 oranges is good. Vitamin C. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm hoping I can fit all these jalapenos in too. My goodness. All right. If you have gloves, you should probably wear them before touching spicy peppers, or just make sure that you wash your hands really well after. Okay, we're ready. I'm super excited to try this though when it's done, because I've heard it tastes really good. I'm not the biggest fan of apple cider vinegar at all. I try to consume it regularly because I know it's good for you, but it's just, the flavor is just not very good, in my opinion. It's just very strong. So I love like spicy pickles and stuff like that. So I'm not even sure I'll add honey. I think the honey is, you know, an added health benefit, but I like savory things more. And the only sweet thing in here is the orange. So I don't know, we'll see. You know, maybe I'll split the batch in half and add honey to some. before I start touching everything. Okay. I love horseradish. I think this clears out your sinuses. So I'm not really sure what all the components do exactly, but I'm excited to taste this and report back. All right, so let's put a couple of these in there. Turkey tail. And then I still need to fit the rosemary in. Oh boy. Get down in there. It's very pretty. It smells really good. Kind of smells like the holidays a little bit. Strange smell, but good. Okay. All right, so now let's put in one. I'm gonna put in 2 bay leaves. Just dump that in. I'm gonna have to like look up to see. I wanted to put oregano in, and I don't have any, because I don't know if you ever heard of like oil of oregano. It's supposed to be really good for you if you're sick. So yeah, I don't know what thyme or dill does, but I'm sure it does something. If not, it just adds a nice flavor. And then lots and lots of cracked black pepper. If this comes out tasty, I think that I like to make Christmas gifts, and it's always good to start early. So I think this would be an awesome Christmas gift. Homemade fire cider for your friends and family. All right, so let's see here if we can get this to fit. Okay. Let's just top it up. Whew, okay, it smells very pungent. Maybe I can fit both bottles in here. Bubbly. This is very satisfying. Like, I feel like a witch, or like I'm a mad scientist or something. Okay. All right, so then you cap it, and some people say to use parchment paper, because it is so acidic that it will like burn the seal. So I mean, I just have a plastic lid, and I think that should be just fine. All right, there it is. It's beautiful, really. Like, I would love to keep this out on my counter, but I think the sunlight could mess it up or something. I think that what I'll do also is I'll check back on it later tonight and top it off if there seems to be like more room. But right now it's pretty much right up to the top. So let me know in the comments below if you liked this. I know it's a little different from what I usually do. It was fun for me. I really love being in the kitchen. I don't know if I could ever be like a cooking show type person, but it is a lot of fun for me to make things and to tell stories. So I hope that my story inspired some thought, or maybe shed some light a little bit onto alcoholism. And if you have any questions or anything like that, please don't hesitate to ask me. You can leave a comment below and I'll be happy to reply. And as always, your support, your liking my video and subscribing to my channel is super appreciated. This is what I do full time. And like I said, I was in a slump there for like a month, trying to get back into the swing of things so I can keep paying my bills on time. But yeah, it's always a pleasure doing this for you guys. So take care, drink your water, take your vitamins, give someone a compliment today if you haven't already. Makes you feel good, makes them feel good. We need more of that in the world. So, all right, I'll see you guys next time.